Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good morning everyone. In this video, we are from group Table Manners will present our video of talk show. But before we move to the video, let us introduce ourselves first. My name is Muhammad Erlangga Kurniawan. Here I am as the host of the talk show.
And my name is Puja Lestari as a Korean guest star.
My name is Muhammad Noval Akbar as a Japanese guest star.
Okay everyone, here is our video. Good morning everyone. Welcome to Tangga, Talkshow with Angga, the place where we talking and explore cultures and customs around the world. Today, with me, Muhammad Erlangga Kurniawan, we will talk and present you a very special show with two amazing guest stars representing the beauty of Korean and Japanese culture. Let's welcome Kim Puja from Korea. Give applause for Kim Puja. Okay, the next amazing guest star from Japan is Naupal Hirohito. Let's welcome to Naupal Hirohito. I would like to say welcome to Kim Puja and Naupal Hirohito. Thank you for joining us today. Okay, so today we will talk about table manners, especially from Korea and Japan. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, in table manners across any country, there are specific rules for foreign tourists who may not be familiar with those activities. These table manners are essential to navigate the cultural nuances respectively. Okay, to start off, I would like to know from Kim Puja, can you share a little bit about the sitting, chopsticks usage, and speaking manners during a meal in Korea?
Sure. Thank you for inviting me, Mr. Angga. So, in Korea, how we sit is very important. Usually, we sit cross-legged or on a low cushion called anjongbu. This reflects the values of simplicity and respect for others. The use of chopsticks is also very common, and it is important not to poke the food with chopsticks, but to present it to the mouth. And during meals, we avoid talking with our mouths full and try not to make excessive noise.
Very nice. We have now the table manners from Korean, from Kim Puja, and now we would like to know from Naupal Hirohito, especially in Japan. How about table manners from Japan?
Thank you for the question. Sure. In Japan, the way of serving food is the highly values. We prioritize aesthetic and tasting in serving. The use of chopstick is also common in Japan, and it is important to remember to not to touch the tips of the chopstick to the food that we will be served in others. And manners of speaking during meals are also important. We tend to be quiet and appreciate silence to enjoy the meal. I think that's all.
Thank you, Naupal. I would like to thank you for both your enlightenment. But now, let's compare the way of eating in Korea and Japan. Are there any significant differences that might surprise our audience here? Okay, thank you for both your enlightenment. Now let's compare the way of eating in Korea and Japan. there any significant differences that might surprise our audience here?
Yes, well, there are some similarities, such as the use of chopsticks. The differences in sitting and speaking manners can be interesting. In Korea, modesty and respect are highly emphasized.
How about in Japan?
Yes, exactly. I agree with Puja. In Japan, we focus more on aesthetic and silence during meals. However, I think both cultures have a deep value when it comes to table manners.
Okay. Now, let's look at some practical examples of how to sit and use chopstick. Kim Puja, maybe you can show us a typical way of sitting in Korea. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will talk about the table manners in Korea and Japan from our business today. And now, let's look at some practical examples of how to sit and use of chopsticks from their country. First, maybe Kim Puja, can you show us a typical way of sitting in Korea?
Of course, it will be my pleasure. So, if we sit on a chair, be a high table, we sit as we usually sit on a chair. But if we sit on the floor with a low table, we sit cross-legged or on a low cushion or anjongbu like this.
Okay. Okay.
And once you sit down to dinner, it is common dining etiquette in Korea to let the oldest person start eating before you start enjoying your meal.
Oh, okay. Now, how about your leader? I want you to practice. How about use of chopsticks? Okay, can you repeat?
Now I will show you how to Japanese people use chopstick. First, to put chopstick in your hand, like this, and the other chopstick like this. Yeah, and use your finger like this to grab the food. Yeah, I think that's all. How to use chopstick in Japanese
In
people.
Japan. Okay, very interesting. Okay, audience, ladies and gentlemen, before we head to the closing, let's take a look at the questions from our viewer audience. Okay, the first question is from Seoul. What is your question, Seoul? Oh, okay. Your question is how to show appreciation after eating in Korean and Japan. Maybe you can. Okay, Puja, maybe you can answer questions from Seoul first.
Okay, thank you for the question. So, in Korea, after a meal, it is very common to say thank you to the host and praise the dish with phrases like "잘 먹겠습니다" or which means thank you for the meal or food.
In Korea, and how about in Japan?
Okay, before I answer, thank you, Segun, for your question, and I will answer. And while in Japan, we often say "Gochisousama sama deshita" to express gratitude for delicious meal. It is expression to show appreciation to the cook. So you say "Gochisousama sama deshita" after you finish your meal.
Thank you. Okay, Seoul, yeah. And that is the answer from the yes. Seoul, that is the answers from the guests today. Thank you, Naupal and Puja, for the very informative answers. That's all we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to once again to Kim Puja and Nopan Hirohito for your time and your insights on how to eat in your own cultures. Before we end, is there any final message from both of you would like to share with the audience? Tackle Kim Puja first.
Okay, I would like to thank everyone for watching, and let's keep preserve our cultural values, including the way we eat, and so that it can be passed down to the next generation.
How about you, Nopan Hirohito? Is there any final message?
Okay, I agree. The culture is the precision, everything that we must take care of together. Thank you for this opportunity, and I hope the audience will a deeper understanding of Korean and Japanese development.
Okay, good. Okay, that's it about Tanga today. See you on the next episode. Thank you for joining us all. Tanga talks with Aga. Good morning, everyone. Bisa dapat edit.
예, 그 식문화 자체가 모든 것의 중심이라고 볼 수 있죠. 모든 식구가 다 모이면은 준비한 음식 나눠 먹고.
특히나 한국 음식 같은 경우에는 강렬한 색깔도 있을 수 있고, 어떤 음식이 그 그릇에 담겼을 때 그 그릇과 음식이 합쳐져서 하나의 정말 작품이 될 수 있도록, 혹은 그 기능성으로 태어나기를 원하거든요. 지금 우리가 예전의 전통에 대해서 거기에 대해서 영감을 받고 좋은 것을 만들려고 노력하는 그런 것처럼, 후세의 사람들도 지금 우리의 것을 보면서 혹은 거기에서 영감을 받으면서 다시 우리가 계속해서 이어져가는 전통의 아름다움이 계속 앞으로 100년이고 200년이고 그런 아름다움이 살아날 수 있도록 노력하고 있는 거죠.
So there are primarily three types of chopsticks: Japanese style, Chinese style, and Korean style. As you can see, they're distinctly different. So the main difference is that Japanese chopsticks have really fine tip compared to other chopsticks, which allows really fine work. You can cut in through with these chopsticks some soft ingredients such as tofu or fish meat. You can also grab small objects. So the characteristic of Chinese chopstick is that it's quite longer in compared to some Japanese chopsticks like this. It tends to be a little bit thicker, and also at the tip is also thicker. I think the reason for that is that in China you have like a big table. They usually eat in a big family, and then they have like plates all over, and then you share so you can reach further plates. The main characteristic of Korean chopstick is that it's made of metal and tends to be square and thin. Usually Japanese chopsticks are made of bamboo or wood, and the Chinese chopstick are made of wood or often plastic. And then Korean, it's made with metal. I'm not quite sure what the reason for that is. They also use often metal plates or metal bowls. I personally think Japanese chopstick are better, probably because I'm Japanese, I'm used to it. Because of its fine tip, then you can work finely, you can grab pretty much anything. Whereas with Chinese chopstick, for me it was quite difficult to grab noodles, and for Korean style, because it's made of metal, when you're eating something hot, then the tip gets so very hot, and for me it was a bit uncomfortable. I personally recommend using Japanese chopstick like this. Now I'm going to show you how to use chopstick properly. So before we go into that, there's actually a proper way of picking up chopsticks. So what you want to do is you want to, with your right hand, pick up the chopstick like this, and with your left hand you hold it from the bottom like this, and then you slide your right hand like this, and then it's ready to be used. And when you're finished, then you do exactly the reverse. You hold your chopstick like this, and then you slide over around, and then hold the top, and then place it back. Of course, you don't have to do this, but it's just kind of elegant way of using chopsticks. Now to hold the chopstick properly, you want to pick up one chopstick and then hold it just as you would hold a pencil or a pen, and hold it just about halfway. You actually move only the top chopstick. And then the second chopstick, you slide it through this hole, and then you hold with the bottom of the thumb and top part of the ring finger like this. You're going to hold the bottom chopstick like this. And this stays as it is, it doesn't move. And then you just move the top chopstick like this, and that's the proper way to hold chopstick. One of the most important things using a chopstick is that you have a very even tip. So if you have a tip like slightly uneven like this, you could not work well. If you're struggling using chopstick, then you might want to make sure that you have a very even tip. Like I wouldn't be able to eat anything if I were holding my chopstick like this. So have an even tip, and then you work only the top like this. If you want to practice using chopstick, then what we often do is you have two plates and then you pick up the beans with your chopstick. That's something we do in elementary school. I think I remember doing it in like the 1st or 2nd grade. We had beans like this, and then what you do is you pick up the beans like this. Like this. So in the beginning, maybe it's a bit difficult, but once you get the hang of it, then it's actually not very difficult. Like this. If this is too difficult for you, you can start with bigger beans. It's difficult to hold like a very hard thing. It's much easier if you have like a very soft thing. I would maybe start with like a gummy bear. Those are very easy to hold, and then work your way up. And if you want to be very, very professional, then you can also pick up the rice grains. For the beginner, it might seem quite impossible, but once you get the hang of it, you can actually pick up the grain of rice like this. That is only if you want some challenge. And I would assume picking up rice grain is quite impossible if you have a Chinese style or Korean style chops.